The Gospel of John borrows from the Stoics. Logos was the Greek word for word, and the word logos was God. But what I'm doing is far deeper than the modern day adaptation of Stoic philosophy. I'm looking at the governing bodies of the universe. This is the symbol for the Stoics, right? So as we can see on the bottom left, the circular border symbolizes the cyclical nature of the universe. Here we can take a look at the Roger Penrose heat death or entropy theory. The theory of entropy or heat death states that the universe will end in maximum entropy and no thermodynamic free energy, absolute zero temperature. Heat and light will converge into a constant, one single point. Does this sound familiar? Obviously, I'm referring to the Big Bang here, and this is a theory that time in the universe itself is cyclical. I discovered this in March many years ago. When pneuma met logos. Pneuma is Greek for breath. So this is when the logos bore life. And in the Greek New Testament, pneuma is the Holy Spirit of the Holy Trinity. When pneuma met logos, in other words, the maker was born. But let's take a closer look at that word maker. Makers, the acronym. Movement, advancement, knowledge, excitement, and realization. The 5 tenets of a maker: play and spontaneity, freedom to express, realistic limits. For attachment, we're gonna get into attachment more in my second video, but you have attachment, unattachment, and detachment. Those are the 3 roles, and then autonomy. Lastly. So makers are kind of otherworldly beings. The reincarnation of their souls is governed by Saturn, which casts a seemingly permanent melancholic temperament. This is actually kind of a Renaissance idea. But let's take a closer look at that reincarnation. So, in the solar wind and sunlight, or the comet's orbit, that's where the soul of the maker, the reincarnation, resides. And in the dust tail of the comet, this is where the ideas and images from a past life come through to the subconscious of the human taker. And these ideas are kind of what stems from creativity. So this is where the Pleiades comes into the story. So the soul of the maker can be brought out by superstition brought on by the Pleiades. So here's how it goes. The first time you see the each year that is, the first time you see the Pleiades rise on a late summer night, this will bring forth your subconscious fate of that winter and that coming year. It kind of determines your fate. It's a subconscious superstition. So Brazil is actually governed by Orion as well. And Brazil is where many makers have their fairs. But this is almost a metaphorical Brazil. Sometimes it's the real, geographical country, but in other contexts, it is a metaphorical land. But we're going to get more into that in the second video, so stay tuned. So my goal as a maker is to push my boundaries. In each artistic pursuit I do, go a little further, go a little more into the waters, into the depths. It's also to expel something from my subconscious that I might fulfill my earthly purpose. And from time to time, I have visions for my maker past life. It's a desolate, surrealist world, visions of a tortured creature. So my purpose in this world isn't, material possession, for example. It's to expel my old soul. Makers are the artists. Fakers are the performers. The makers seek full freedom of self-expression. Creatives share a bond with each other that others don't understand. So the stars are a guide to other planes. There's a difference between planes, realms, and spaces. It's about opening your eyes to other worlds and the space between spaces. That's the key right there. So I would like to thank you all for tuning in. This is my first video on my manuscript. I have many more to come where I want to get into attachment planes. And let me check my notes about Brazil. That's what I want to get into as well, and maybe a few other topics. But thank you very much for tuning in. I love you all. Have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas.